wonderfully faithful friends. This is Teresa. Welcome back to my favorite video of the month to film, except for my faith content. I am filming my July TBR. I am so excited to be filming this video, and this game, which I'll film in, which you'll see in just a few minutes. The second clip will be me showing you, me face to face showing you the books that I will read this month. So I am going to get on my TBR for July, something in the in any of my annual readathons that I do. I hope to be able to plug those in there. And then the last 2 weeks of the month, it starts the 17th, I am going to participate in the Bright Side Girls Pirate and Mermaid readathon. So I'll have a different video for that, but I'm going to keep those in mind, that I'm hoping that I can plug those in to to this TBR, to my TBR. But if I can't, I will have a different TBR for that. So that'll give me the first half of the month for this one. If I can't get any mermaid books on it, the second half of the month for the TBR. Now, I have a prayer request. This is a faith-based channel. So I have a prayer request. Please pray for me that I get out of my reading slump this month. I did not do so well for the third month in a row. I will put up the graphic right here. Actually, I'll put it up a little bit later. I'll tell you when I'm going to put it up because I want to talk about it a little bit. I will put up the graphic. Thanks to Katie from Paperbacks and Ponytails is where I got the idea for this graphic. And I will put that up and show you how I did. There are a few days left in the month. Today is June the 26th, I think. Hold on. Nope, June the 25th. Today is June the 25th. And so I have 5 days left in the month. So hopefully I can find a book that I can read in 5 days so I can at least finish another book. So, anyhow, here is, and remember, my TBRs are not ever set in stone. I don't like to mood read. I would rather have a set list of books because I don't have a home library. I usually get books from my personal library in my town, or from Hoopla, or from Libby, and from Kindle Unlimited. I have Kindle Unlimited. However, I do want to tell you, and we'll get to this in just a second, I do want to tell you that I have discovered that I really don't care for Hoopla because I don't like reading on my computer. I am on my computer enough creating graphics and designing and everything for the other things I do. I don't want to read on it. I'd rather read a physical book or read on my Kindle. So I really do not really care for Hoopla for that reason. Not that I don't care for digital reading, because I do read digitally on my Kindle, but I don't like to read on my computer. Now, if Hoopla allowed you to download the book to your Kindle, then yeah, that would be okay. But I don't care for reading it on my computer. Okay, so I'm going to roll a 6-sided die, and let me move this out of the way for just a second. Okay, this is 1. I kind of like to do this differently every month. This is 1. This is 2. This is the game we played last month. This is 3. This is 4. And this is 5. And this is my TBR jar. And it doesn't have, it has plenty of prompts in it, but I made the little hexagons too small. So I am going to, if this is chosen, I am going to fill it up with larger hexagons. Okay. I think that's what they're called, hexagons, maybe pentagons, I don't know. Okay, so this is one. What did I say? Let's just scratch all that so I know what I'm doing. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and this is 5. And then if I roll a 6, then we'll do something different. I'll tell you what we're going to do. And this also this idea was prompted by Katie from Paperbacks and Ponytails when she gave me a suggestion, and I took that suggestion and ran with it. So I really would like a 6 so I can run with that. So we'll see. A 1. So this is 1. Okay, that's what we're doing. I've played that game. I don't know what to do. I have played this game so much. Maybe I should just take it out of the mix this month because I'm really not feeling it. Yeah, let's do that. I'm going to take that out of the mix this month. Okay, so let's renumber. I'm so sorry, guys. But guess what? It's my game. I can do it. Okay, so this is, we're still going to say that the other thing is 6. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and the other thing is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Okay. Ah, still a 1. Okay. I don't think I roll very well. Okay, we're going to go with the 1, guys, because I, just because. Okay, so how you play this game, we're going to go ahead and play it so I can go find my books. We played it last month, and it turned out okay. It wasn't the game's fault that I was in reading slump. Okay, so how you play this game, what we're gonna do this, is and we'll take this one out of there. You turn this over, beginning with an X. Oh gosh, I'm so glad we didn't leave that in here. A superhero's name. So this is how I did it last month. So the book had to begin with an X, or I would say for this one, it had to have an X in it. And it would have to do something with superheroes. So we are going to take that out of there, and then we are going to shuffle. I don't shuffle. These cards are really stiff. I think I said that last month. And they're very slick. So we're going to see. And I hope it doesn't take as long to do this as it did last month. But after I finished playing the game, I spent the rest of the afternoon researching and figuring out what I was going to put on my TBR. Now, if I can put anything on my TBR that I still have from the library, then I might do that, because I really liked my TBR from last month. One more time. Okay. Okay. I'm going to zoom you in just a little bit. Okay. And I need a piece of paper. You would think that you could have a piece of paper ready at your hand if you lived in a craft room. Why don't we use it? And live in this craft room, I do. Okay. We're going to use the back of this. I know it's... Oh, I forgot what we need to do. I can take the 12-sided die away. I'm going to roll one more time. A 6. Now we get a 6. Okay, so we're going to choose... Oh, I should have... Last month I roll the 12-sided die, but it's okay. We're going to go with 6. And so I'm going to choose 6 books. Okay. So we have not containing an A. It cannot have an A in it. No A. And has to be a holiday book. Okay. That's good because one of my goals for the year is to read a Christmas book every month. And I haven't really done so hot at that. Beginning with an H. I'm going to say it has to have an H in the title. H in title. Because I don't want to make it more difficult for myself. So something in the city. Okay. Beginning with an M. Okay. So it has to have an M in the title. And something made of wood. So we're going to say something on the cover. Made of wood. And I might try and do a lot of Kindle Unlimited books this time. Because I haven't really been using my Kindle the last 3 months, especially being in this reading slump. Okay, not containing an H. No H. Something to do with computers. So that has to be in the title or just in the book. Okay, that's number 4. Okay. And not containing an L. No L. Item in a suitcase. Please forgive me for that noise in the background. My husband's in the next room doing something. Item in a suitcase or suitcase on the cover. Okay. And the last one. We have the last one. Oh. We're going to skip that one. Not containing an M. No M. And something with a metal. So something on the cover with metal. Okay, so I will come back in the next clip and let you know what 6 books I am going to put on my TBR for July. Thank you so much for sticking with me here, and I will be back. Hello, my creatively faithful friends. This is the second clip of my July TBR video. As you saw in the first clip, I ended up having to play my Splurt TBR game. I really do like that game, but I don't know of a way I can do a variety and make it random. Maybe I should take off. I know what I'll do. I will take off what I played the month before, and then that'll narrow the choices down of what I can play going forward. There we go. Figured it out. I just had to talk it out. Okay, so as you saw in the Splurt game, number 1 was No A, and it had to be a holiday book. Well, I have a disclaimer right off the bat. When I looked up No A's, one of my reading goals is to read a Christmas book every single month. I haven't done so well at that. When I look, and I have different lists at my library on my account, and when I looked at my holiday list, all of the Christmas books had the word Christmas in them, except for this one. And then when my husband went, and so I placed it on hold, when my husband went to pick it up from the library, it had a completely different title. Same author, but completely different title. So it says Christmas Once Again. Well, that's got an A in the title. But on the library website, this book was called Her Lost Love by Gina Bakar. So I'm going with that. So that is book number 1 on my TBR. Okay. Book number 2 had to be H in the title and something in the city. Well, I put this book on hold and it didn't come through yet, but I'll put the cover right here, and I'm going to read Harvest of Gold by Tessa Afshar. So I kind of like that, and I love Tessa Afshar. I've read a couple of her books, and so I think that'll be okay. I am hoping and praying that this is the month that is going to get me out of my reading slump. And you'll see why when I talk about this towards the end of the video. I'm going to talk about my May reads, or not May, June reads. So that's what I'm reading for the H in the title and something in the city. And that book, it mentioned Jerusalem. So Jerusalem was a city. So I'm sure there's going to be something to do with something that was in the city of Jerusalem. And the next one is M in the title, and it had to be something on the cover made of wood. And I have checked this book out of the library, I know at least once, and never was able to read it, or never got around to reading it. And it's Calling on the Matchmaker by Jody Hedlund. And again, this book didn't come in when my husband went to pick up my books from the library today, and this one hadn't come in yet. So something on the cover made of wood. On the cover of this book, there's some buildings in the background, and so I'm sure, at least because it's like set in way back when, so I'm sure there are buildings that are made of wood. Okay, and then number 4 had no H, and it had to have something to do with a computer. And this one was a hard one, but I did find 2 books, and I was going to choose from 2 books. And this one, I needed a short book, and this one was, this is the one I chose. It's called Glaciers, and it's by Alexis M. Smith, and it follows a woman that is a thrift store shopper, and there's you know, there was some things to do in the in a computer, and so I will report on that. Then number 5 was No L. And I thought I had to get this from Interlibrary Loan. I looked up the title, but I must have had a word wrong on our library, and it had to have a suitcase on the cover. And so I went to Interlibrary Loan and put it on hold through there. Of course, it takes a little while to get those. And I went on a little bit later, and it said that they had canceled that because they have it in their collection. So I must have done something wrong. But it's Before We Were Yours by Lisa Wingate. And I'll put that right here. I don't remember what it was for, except it was about orphans, and there's 2 kids sitting on a suitcase on the cover. Okay, and then No M. Couldn't have any M in the title, and it had to have something on the cover with metal. So I chose this one, and you'll see why I chose this one in a minute. And this is a very long book. Hopefully, well, it's just a big book. It's only got 387 pages, but looks big. So it's called Pirate, and it's by Clive Cussler. And I've never read any of his books, but it's about a family, or a husband and wife, that are kind of treasure hunters. And the metal on the cover is there's a shipwreck right here, and they're diving, they're holding flashlights, so I figured there would be metal there somehow. So those are the 6 books that were on my TBR from the Splurt game. Then I am going to come back later on this month. The Pirate and Mermaid Readathon that the Brightside Girl puts on is July 7th through the 20th. So I'll probably come back on July 5th or 6th to give you my TBR for that one. I've got them all written down, and I tried to combine some prompts and use as many books as I could. But I do want to tell you my annual readathon prompts that I follow. I follow 6 of them. One of them's mine, and the other 5. And I went on and got my lists all up to date, so I feel really good about that. And so Chantel from Chantel Reads All Day, hers are just 1-word prompts. And the word for July is royalty. And I am hoping that in some of my Pirate Mermaid books, there's something to do with royalties, because I didn't plug in a separate book for that. And then for Kat's Biblical Retelling, I'm going to plug in that Harvest of Gold by Tessa Afshar. And then I always, with my friend Molly from Molly J Books, we do a monthly Bible study together, and we are reading the book of Romans this month and the book of Proverbs. Now the 2 books of the Bible that were for Kat's readathon were Acts. What's that? Acts and Revelation, and we've already read Acts, and I really didn't want to get into the book of Revelation, so not the whole book. Read it through. So we're going to read Romans and Proverbs. So we're reading at least two books of the Bible every month. At least one from the Old Testament and one from the New Testament, and if we need to double up, to make it last through the whole month, then we read more than one book. And then Amanda from Book Lover Amanda, her prompt for this month is a book set in summer. And again, I'm hoping that one of my books will be set in the summer. So, and then my readathon Cozy Readathon 2025, you had to splurge on a new book or accessory. Well, okay, I got it. So I splurged on a book accessory. I have been trying to get my hands on this. I'm in a buying group, a craft buying group, and I have been trying to get my hands on this since January, and it finally came available. So I ordered this die for my book, my splurge on an accessory for the bookmark, as a bookmark die. So I will be able to make some bookmarks. It's got some other little bookish dies that go with it, and I will be able to do that. So I'm excited about that. Finally, I'll be able to do that. And then Jeanette from Jane Reads, her prompt for July is set in your home country. Again, I am hoping that some of those books will be set in my home country of the United States. And then Katie from Paperbacks and Ponytails, I am going to plug in books for 3 of the prompts, and I need to do that because if I don't do that, I'm going to have to double up somewhere else, because there's 5 months left in the year, and there are 5 after I do these 3 prompts, I have 5 prompts left, and I am finally going to read this book. That I'm going to use this for the pirates prompt there, and so finally read that book. So that is my July TBR, and then like I said, I will come back with a pirate and mermaid readathon. I love mermaids. I love mermaids. My craft room used to be decorated in mermaids. I went and decorated in bees. Another theme that I really like is bees, and I went and decorated in bees a while back, and I haven't changed back to mermaids yet, but I will one day. Okay, so now over here, it always confuses me. Over here is my little graphic for my May wrap-up. No, I don't know why I keep saying May. My June wrap-up. Okay, my June wrap-up. The first book, let's see. The Only Woman in the Room. I was reading that book, and I was going to finish. That was kind of the last book that I read during the month, and I was going to finish reading it before, by Monday. I was on track to finish reading it. I was on like page 65, and I DNF'd it. It was headed. Now, it didn't have yet, but it was headed toward an abusive relationship, and between a husband and wife. It was headed towards this abusive relationship, and I just didn't care for it. So I DNF'd that book. The second book that I started reading of the month was my science fiction book that I needed to read, and it was called Arena. I don't remember who it was by, but you'll see on the graphic. And I soft DNF'd that book. There wasn't anything in the content that I didn't care for. I was on, probably when I quit, I was on about chapter 13. And it had Hunger Games vibes, and I read the Hunger Games, and I didn't really, nothing's really wrong with that, but I wasn't vibing with the book. So and then so I soft DNF that one. Maybe I'll come back to it, maybe I won't. And then I wish I had thought to write this down ahead of time. So then I DNF'd a spool of blue thread. I couldn't get past the content in the first chapter, and so I DNF'd that. And A Year of Flowers, I did read that book, and I really enjoyed that book. It wasn't fabulous, I think I gave it 3 stars. All the other books I just didn't get to, and I will tell you, I know that this book would have brought me out of my reading slump, but I'll tell you why I didn't read this book. Appalachian Song by Michelle Shockley. I did not get that through interlibrary loan like I could have, because my friend gave me her sign-on to her library so I could use Hoopla. Well, I discovered that through using Hoopla, you can only read, it won't download to your Kindle, and so I can only read on my computer. You could probably read it on your phone too, but I can't read on my phone. These eyes don't see well enough to do that. And so, and I didn't want to read on my computer. I am on my computer enough. I don't mind reading digitally on my Kindle, but I didn't want to have my computer in my lap. It's heavy, and read on that. So, and then the other books in my TBR, I just did not get to. So, I read one book again. I read one book in May and one book in July, or June. So I am really hoping to get out of this reading slump. So anyhow, I see you might can see these 2 books here, The Centurion's Wife and Between the Sea and the Sound. I kept those books from last month's TBR. Both of these were on the annual TBR list, and I kept those books so that I could maybe possibly get to those this month. I doubt I will, but we'll see. So here, other than you will have seen all the others, here's what I have physically so far. The Christmas one that was titled Her Lost Love, Glaciers, and the one that says Pirate. And so those are the books that I hope to read, and I can't wait to get into the Pirate Mermaid readathon. And so that's it for this month. Hope you enjoyed. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Dreams and discovering more stories and scriptures written with care.